If you're trying to make a big door for a map or server or something like that in vanilla Minecraft, you basically have one main option, which is using /fill and /playsound to just move around full blocks. However, this is kind of clunky and not very smooth, like, at all, and alternatives do exist, but there are none out there that I actually like, and that led me to invent my own alternative, the half slab door. This door deliberately feels smooth, but not so smooth that it's jarring. I originally invented these doors for the Nether Flame Blade, which is a Minecraft map that I released several months ago. For context, it's an adventure map with puzzles and PvE about a teenage boy who has to forge a legendary blade in a ruined laboratory in order to defeat a mysterious evil. If that interests you, the download link is in the description. However, that's enough of that. I felt like a lot of people could use these doors, so I decided to make a tutorial for them. So yeah, let's get into that. Okay, before we get into the tutorial, there are a few things that I want to discuss. This will be timestamped, so just skip ahead if you don't want to go through this. First, these slab doors don't need mods, but they do need commands and resource packs to actually work. So even though this is vanilla, this isn't something you could just put in a survival world or something like that. Now, some of you may be saying that I basically lied in the title, since command blocks and resource packs are just mods, only less powerful. However, if you're gonna go say that, you're probably missing the point. These doors were never designed for survival worlds or anything like that. These were designed so that map creators could put these in their maps, or servers could use them without forcing everyone to install a mod. It was designed for those sorts of applications. It's not for survival worlds or anything like that. Second, I consider these doors to be basically like in the public domain now that I've published this video. What I mean by that is that you can basically do whatever you want with these, and you don't have to credit me. I feel like even though this was originally invented for just one map, they have the capacity to grow so beyond me and that map that demanding credit whenever they're used would sort of just be holding them back. So even though I invented them, I no longer consider them to be mine, if that makes sense. So yeah, use them in maps, servers, YouTube videos, whatever. You don't need to give permission or credit. If you watch this tutorial and think that you can make a better one, go ahead. I think this tutorial is decent, though it definitely could be better. Though for a tutorial, actually, please do credit me, because then, yeah, you know. And my only big rule is that you can't claim or imply that you invented these, because that is not true. I invented them. However, this rule does have an exception. If you have independently discovered these doors, then you can claim that you invented them, since then that would be true. But it would probably be a good idea to explain this though, so that people don't think that you just stole the idea from me. Third, this tutorial will be split into two parts. Part 1 will be where I teach you how to make the resource pack, and part 2 will be where I teach you the command setup. And yeah, that should be everything, and let's get into the tutorial. Okay, it is now the first half of the tutorial, and for this half, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be making the resource pack. So we are going to be open our file explorer. Go to view, go to show, and make sure that file name extensions is checked on. Next, go here and type in %appdata%, at least on Windows. And then we're going to go to .minecraft. If anyone knows how to get here, like on other operating systems, like Mac OS or Linux, please comment that below, and I'll probably pin the comment. But anyways, what we're going to need to do is go to versions, go to the latest version, which is just going to be 1.21.11, and we have 1.21.11.jar. We're going to copy this, paste it, and then we are going to go do a backspace, and then we're going to do .zip. So it is now a zipped folder and not a jar file. We're going to open this up, and you're going to see that it is now just a bunch of stuff. We're going to be using this for two things. One, to get the necessary texture that we're going to need, and two, as a reference for the resource pack. So now with that, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be making a new folder, and we'll just call it Slab Doors. And what we're going to need to be doing is make a text document and have it be pack.txt. And we're going to open that up. Now, for this pack.txt, I'm going to be using the pack file of another resource pack just as reference. So what we're going to do is do this here, 2 spaces, and then pack is And then we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4 pack underscore format equals, and then we're gonna put a value there eventually. Then description is gonna be slab door tutorial. And then we are going to do an indent. And we're going to do another indent. And we are going to be finished, or sort of finished with this. Now, pack format, we're going to actually need a value to put here. And it's not going to be 46 because this is for 1.21.4. So we're going to actually need a value that's different since this is for 1.21.11. And to figure that out, we're going to go to the Minecraft wiki, which is going to be... And then we're going to do pack format at the Minecraft wiki. This is for data packs. Don't take them up here. We're going to go down to the resource packs. And we are going to see that for 1.21.11, our resource pack format is going to be 75. So we're going to be setting this here to 75. And that is going to be it. And with that, as you probably saw, this was not pack.text in my other resource pack. This is called pack.mcmeta. And now, we're going to need to make a bunch of different folders. I'll just drag this out here, just to make things easier for us. Yeah, we're going to need that dragged out here, and we're going to actually use this as reference for the rest of our resource pack. So we're going to do assets, then Minecraft, and then textures, and then block. And with that, we are going to see all of these textures here. Anyways, we are going to be needing to retexture a block that has two attributes. First, it must be able to be turned into slabs, and second, it can't have the same texture on all 6 sides. It has to have side textures, and then top and bottom textures. Now, to my knowledge, there are 2 blocks in the vanilla game that have those 2 attributes, which are sandstone and red sandstone. For this tutorial, we are going to be doing sandstone. And technically only the first one is required. Like, you definitely need it to be turned into slabs, but you could probably bypass the second one if you were to just, like, take a block that could have slabs, go to models, and then just, like, make a JSON model for that one that will actually, like, have a top and bottom texture and side textures. But we're not going to be doing that for simplicity's sake. We're just going to be retexturing sandstone. Anyways, block, and then sandstone. We're going to see that we have sandstone, and then the sandstone top and bottom. So if we open this up, we can see that this is the side texture. And we can see that this is the bottom texture. And this is the top texture. Now then, we are going to need the block that we actually want to turn into the door, like what do we want the slabs to actually look like. And for this tutorial, we're going to be doing iron block. So I'm just going to drag this out here, and it's going to copy it to desktop since it is a zipped folder. And what we need is this. So we have ironblock.png. And we're going to actually need to use a paint parameter or something to actually, like, make the side texture be what we want it to be. So what we're gonna do is gonna go to getpaint.net. If you have another one, it would be fine, but if you don't, I would just recommend paint.net, which is sort of like Photoshop, only it's like free, and it's not really like a drop in quality if compared to like Photoshop, because it's just 16 by 16 textures. Yeah, download that if you don't have it. I do have it, so I'm just gonna open it up here. And then we're going to go to File, New, and then we're going to do 16 by 16 because that is the aspect ratio of Minecraft block textures. So let's just zoom in to make things easier. And then we're gonna copy this texture, paste it here, and then we have 16 by 16. Now what we are going to need to do is we are going to have to take the bottom half, so 16 by 8, and then we are going to cut this with Control X, so that way it is deleted, but it's copied to our clipboard. We're going to move this down, and then we are going to escape so it's not selecting that anymore, and then we are going to paste. And then we are going to move this up. And then it is going to be, let's do sandstone.png. Close that, we don't need it anymore. And then we're gonna put this in here. And then what we're gonna need to do is do sandstone. Yeah, remembering, yeah, we gotta remember this. Let's just open this up for a reference. Sandstone. We're gonna do sandstone bottom, and then sandstone top. So we have the side textures, and now what we're gonna need to do is have this be sandstone bottom, and then sandstone top. So we're gonna move sandstone top here, and then sandstone bottom here. And with that, that should be a resource pack. We have the folder, we have the pack.ncmeta, which is going to be like what we need for the resource pack. We have assets, we have Minecraft, we have the textures, we have the block textures, and we have these. And this should be it. This should just be everything we need. Yeah, so now we are going to make our way back to .minecraft, and we're going to do one of two things. Either we can just take open our resource packs folder and just drag it, and just drag this in here. Or if you want to do it from Minecraft map, you're going to go to saves, and then we'll just open this, and you can see that it says resources.zip. So if you actually want it to auto-load from Minecraft map, what we're going to need to do is make this a zipped folder. Yeah, this is going to be a zipped folder called a resources.zip. You would just drag it into the world folder, and it would auto-load whenever you open the map. However, for simplicity's sake, we are just going to be putting this into our resource packs folder. And with that, we have concluded the first half of the tutorial. Hey, quick note before we get into the rest of the video. Like and subscribe if you want it. That's all I gotta say, and I'm just gonna keep it at that. Alright, let's get back to the rest of the video. Okay, now it is time for the second half of the tutorial, which is using our resource pack to actually make our slab doors. So what we're gonna start out doing is we're gonna go to Options, Resource Packs, and then you'll see slab doors here. Now, for whatever reason, Minecraft thinks it's broken or incompatible. I don't know why it thinks that, because as you'll see, this definitely works, so I don't know why. If anyone actually in the comments actually knows why this says that, please feel free to comment, but as far as I'm aware, there's nothing wrong with this, so I'm just gonna move this over. Like, as you'll see, this pack works perfectly fine, so it's not that it's actually broken, it's just that Minecraft thinks it's broken for, I guess, some reason that I'm not aware of. Anyways, we're gonna open this up, and we're gonna find sandstone. Yeah. And we'll just do iron blocks, just for comparison. So you can see that I can place these like this, but if I were to place these, it is going to look like this. If I'm just gonna place like one, like, I don't know, floating in the air. Yeah, you can see that the bottom texture is the iron blocks as we did. And then the side textures all around are like these. And if we do half slabs, it is going to look a little bit like this. Yeah, we can just place the slabs like these. Yeah. And now then, let me show you what the textures are going to look like. So what we're going to need to do Okay, I have these 3 things built, and I am going to show you what it is that we are going to be making a bunch of command blocks do. So what we're going to be... So let's just start out with this. And then we're going to have this sandstone here. Makes sense so far? And then at the bottom, we are going to be doing slabs. And then we're just going to be placing some blocks of iron here. Do you see what we're getting at now? So what we're going to be doing is going to be doing block of iron, and then alternate here, and then alternate here. And we're just going to be really just doing like set blocks and place sound and stuff, and fill, like... From here is just going to be basic commands. Like, you got all of the weird technical stuff out of the way, and from here it is just going to be basic commands. Okay, I just went and got world edit for this because I don't want to manually build out everything, but yeah, what we're going to need to do is, yeah, you can do this with command blocks or data packs. I'm just going to be using command blocks because it's simpler and easier for you guys to actually understand what's going on. But anyways, I'm gonna, yeah. You don't need this exact redstone setup. I'm just doing this as an example so that you guys can actually tell what's going on. So if we click this, it's gonna toggle. And we're just gonna be using this to do 2 lines of command blocks. Anyways, first what we are going to be needing to do is playing the sound of the block. So I'm just gonna do F3 and F6 at the same time. And yeah, Minecraft being a dingus, just made it so that you can't know what block you're looking at, so you actually have to go F3, F6 and enable it. And yeah, now it shows our targeted block, which is just gonna be an iron block, and it also shows the coordinates. So I am going to be doing 18, 59, 18, negative 59, negative 12. 18, negative 59, negative 12, and that will be how we play our sound. So, flicking this will do... I'll have flicking this be, it going up, and flicking this being it going down. So since this is it going down, so it's gonna... We'll just do execute, positioned, 18, 59, 12, 18, negative 59, negative 12. I don't usually say the negatives out loud when I'm typing, so yeah. Run play sound dot piston, and since it, yeah, as we established, this is it going down, we're gonna do block dot piston dot extend block at P, or just do at A if you want to play everyone, and we're going to do there. And then I will just, yeah, I'm just going to do a wooden axe. In World that it kind of doesn't like messing with command blocks, like, it doesn't really like it when I do a left click with that, so I'm just going to be slash copy, and then slash paste. There. Yeah, and this game rule is getting annoying, so I'm just gonna do game rule, command block output false. So it's gonna be... Yeah, I think it was just a little bit too quiet, so yeah, I will just have these be at 2, so we can hear them a lot better, so it's just gonna be... Yeah, and that'll play the sound effects. And I will have some repeaters here, and I will just stack them out 5, and that will play the sound effects there. And now we will need some chain command blocks. So what we're gonna do, yeah, I'm actually gonna make this a chain where it's gonna be chain and then always active. And then we are going to actually 18, 60, 13. And then 18, 60, 11. And what we're gonna do is, for the first one, we're gonna do... Yeah, I'm gonna start out by just doing... Yeah, I do have a bad habit of mixing up positives and negatives. Yeah. And we are going to start off by doing 58 and then 59. So we're going to do the 2 blocks above it. And then we are going to have it be sandstone. And we are going to... I'm just going to... Yeah, we are going to have this on top of it. Be... Yeah. Sandstone slab. I am going to be, copying this over. Yeah. So we have these alternations done, and we're actually gonna adjust it. So, is that after it gets like this, after it goes like that, is then gonna go like this. And then it is going to have, only the top ones be sandstone. And then the one directly below it, being sandstone slabs. And then finally, it is just gonna be these as sandstone slabs. So we're just gonna do 58, 58. And then I am going to copy this. Yeah, actually, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be copying this here. Copy. Copy. And then paste. And then what we need is... iron block. I'll just have it not have the Minecraft for consistency. And then we are going to set the bottom layer to air. And I am going to copy this over 2 more times. And then we are going to have just the top layer being iron blocks. $59. And then 58. There. So basically what this should do, if I actually did everything correctly, it is going to set these to sandstone, these to sandstone slabs, then I'm going to completely clear these and just set these back to blocks. Then it's going to set these to sandstone, these to sandstone slabs, and then just clear all this and set these to blocks. It's going to set these to slabs, and then it's just going to set these to air. So, hopefully, this actually works. Ready? 3... I'm gonna actually add a delay here. Yeah, 3, 2, 1... That did not work as intended. So, what was missing was that I have to actually set the sandstone slab to be type equals top. Yeah, so I will actually copy-paste that everywhere, and then that should work. I actually am going to leave these bugs in here, because that way you can know some common errors to actually avoid. I'm actually going to move this back further, so that way you can see it better. Alright, moment of it's time, let's do it. 3, 2, 1... Yeah, that worked! And now what we are going to be needing to do is we are going to be setting these to slabs, setting this to block, setting this to sandstone and the slabs, and then blocks, and then slab, and then sandstone slabs, and then we're just going to do all of it blocks. So I'm going to go set that up. By the way, yeah, this is pretty tedious, and actually, when I was making this for the Nether Flame Blade, I actually did automate this with a Python script, so that it was less tedious to constantly set up. I would probably have that pasted or linked in the description so that you can much more easily automate this and not have to do all of this every single time. But I am going to be doing this for demonstration purposes. I think you guys get the basic idea, so I'll just, like, cut back to you guys when I actually have the command blocks finished. Okay, I should have those command blocks all filled out. So what it's going to do is going to make a slab here. It's going to make those iron blocks. It's going to do sandstone here with slabs. And it's going to have all this be iron blocks. And then it's going to make that all sandstone, make some slabs down here. And then it's going to have all of this be iron blocks. And this should work. Yup, that actually worked the first time. So I actually am gonna move this back here, so you can actually see this working. Like, I can flick it on. And yeah, that is the finished door. And I'm very proud to have created this. It is a very cool thing, in my opinion. And for one last thing to finish up this video, this exact setup is not the only thing that you can do with this. I just wanted to give a couple more examples. Like, yeah, you can do this. However, if you are so inclined, you can have it instead recede from the bottom instead of the top. And if you could also have it do it from both ends. Like, you can just have it just, like, quickly open like this. Like, this could possibly be good if you are, like, building a spaceship and you want, like, I don't know, like a vacuum thing or something, so you can yeet out, like, the imposters, like it's a sussy mug us sort of thing. But yeah, those are just, like, a couple more things that you could possibly do. It doesn't literally have to be this. It could be other things too. But yeah, I think that is going to conclude the tutorial. I hope this was helpful, and yeah, cue the outro.